2019 and how to make it effective for your strategy. Stay tuned.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Been bottom, but it's looking like they took a time out. Okay, I'm working on a Wednesday, then up again the next day. So-and-so is popping, man. I skip him like he leg day.
All right, so first we're going to start with the purpose. What is the purpose of your email marketing campaign? Whether you're B2B or B2C, the purpose is typically going to be the same. You're going to want some sort of engagement back from whoever you're sending it to. Whether or not you got these people from subscribing on your website to a newsletter, or you purchased their name through a list, or you got their name through a list. Either way, the purpose is typically some sort of engagement back. Now, the level of engagement that you're looking for, that's where it comes down to how you're going to create your email and how you're going to do the creative behind it. But the purpose is sending out something, and in 2019, 2018 too, and it's going to continue to be like this. The trends are down as far as open rate, click rate, and things like that, because email marketing is losing its effectiveness because marketers like me and possibly you have just ruined it over the past 10 years. So with it being less effective, you want to try and get straight to the point, which is going to change some of the creative side. What email system are you using? There's tons of CRM systems out there. You can be using a free one like Constant Contact or MailChimp. Those have their limitations, especially if they're free. Even the paid ones have limitations, so we're just doing one-off blasts. You can't really control the format too much, which we'll get into next. But CRM systems out there, HubSpot is very popular. I'm personally not a fan of it because of the cost and because of how they lock you into a multi-year contract. It also has its limitations from a design standpoint. Infusionsoft is something that we used years ago and used for many years. That is a great system because not only does it have the plain text email marketing format that we'll go into next, but then it also has a ton of back-end automation to put people through campaigns and nurture them and build all that out. So Infusionsoft is a great option. Right now we're using SharpSpring and we're a certified partner with SharpSpring. SharpSpring's great because it does some advanced tracking and some advanced list building and things like that, and it searches out on the internet and social platforms and things like that and pulls information back in. So SharpSpring's great for it. You know, whether you're using Zoho, Sugar, CRM, anything like that, you have to have some sort of system in place. You do not want this to just be a one-off blast. You have to keep on going back in and setting up. You want to build out a campaign to where you're sending micro pieces of content, let's say over 8 weeks, and you're hitting everybody either once a week or once every 2 weeks, and you're building it out so that way when somebody new gets put in your funnel, you know that they're going to get these 6 emails or 8 emails over 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever it is. But building out that automation first is going to be critical to make it efficient. But if you're just antsy to get something out there and see some sort of response like I was initially, you can just send out a broadcast email to say, I'm sending something out to everybody on the list, and then this is what you want the call to action to be to at least get some sort of engagement. But either way, put a system in place. Do not try and do this preferably with a Constant Contact or MailChimp. Do not try and do it with that. Spend a little bit of money. There's a bunch of CRM systems that'll do month-to-month plans like SharpSpring, Infusionsoft, and others. And just for a small amount of money, just put it in there and you'll be much better off. So the format, this is the biggest change that has happened over probably the last 2 years. Some people are picking up to it now, and I've been saying this for a couple of years and we implemented it years ago, is you cannot make your email marketing look like a Home Depot ad. You need to remove the images. You need to remove the band of text at the top that says view this in a browser. Remove your headline. Remove your logo. Remove stuff embedded inside of the body. Remove as many images as possible, and you want this just to be in simple, plain text. And you want to still have it be in HTML. I'm not saying go to a rich text format. You still want the HTML because you still want to embed the code and the tracking code so that way you can track what they're clicking and what they aren't clicking in the opens. But you got to stop making it look like an ad where you've got images all over the place and click here and watch this and it just looks like an ad that you'll see. One thing is that depending on what type of email system this is going to, whether it's a corporate one or it's a Gmail system or something like that, they will automatically flag it and throw it into the junk or spam, or with Gmail they'll put it into promotions if you have too many images or too many links. So the format needs to be simpler to where you're just saying, essentially you're trying to make it look like you just typed this email. So you can say some sort of intro and then go straight into some text. Make sure that it's not a big paragraph of text. You want it to be broken out to where you've got separation between your thoughts and your lines. Putting a link in there because you want to be able to track this. with your CRM system that you're sending it through, putting a link, which is your main call to action, or maybe two. That's all I would say is the max, because otherwise this stuff is going to get flagged as spam. So when you lay it out, make sure it's very clear, very straight to the point, keep it simple and short, because people are not going to want to scroll through emails like they used to, and putting maybe max 2 links in there, and then driving that creative throughout your entire email marketing campaign is going to be a must-have, because you want to make it look like it's a sequence that's consistent with the creativity behind it. But biggest point here is stop using images that flag spam. Nobody likes looking at them, and especially if you're doing B2B, this just looks really cheesy these days. The centerline content is the other side of that. So when you look at an email, from an email marketing standpoint, when it comes into you, you can see that people have everything center justified, and there's a box and there's a border along each side of it. That looks like an automation tool created it, and that looks very cheesy and generic, again, like an ad. You can go into the back end of the CSS and do some code changes there, or some email systems like Infusionsoft can make it look just by default like you want it to be a plain email. You want everything shifted to the left, justification. You want it to look just like a normal email that you sent. You do not want to have borders or images or banners or anything like that. Just make it look as plain and as simple as possible. Have a simple signature, no big logos, no big images, nothing like that. And then the other side of it, if you want a little hack, is bury that unsubscribe down below, put some space in between the end of your email signature, and then where that unsubscribe is, put 600 pixels, 800 pixels of empty space, so that way people can't just easily scroll and click unsubscribe, because you want it to not appear like you're just sending somebody through automation. So keeping it simple is the biggest factor here in the email marketing format in 2019. Systems are getting smart to it, people are getting annoyed with it, so just keep it simple. All right, now we're getting into the email list. So whether you have a list or it's a couple years old, it's outdated, or you want to get some new context into your list, this is going to be the critical step to get quality data. In my experience, I do not use any sort of list building services that get their information from Hoovers or D&B, and it's old and outdated, and they're going to build a list based on your criteria. We get hit from those companies all the time. I've known people that have owned those companies before. To me, that is not a play to go down, because you have zero control if you can't search and query it yourself and look at the data and then pull more and more and more. That's not an effective way to build a list. The best way that I've ever seen to build a list is going to be ZoomInfo. Now, ZoomInfo, that's something we use for years. We're currently not using it. This is not endorsed by them, but ZoomInfo, you can look into their system. I don't know what the pricing is going to be when you're watching this video, but right now it's about $5,000 a year. You get 5,000 automatic exports, but you get to access their entire database, and you just get to do search queries in it on keyword phrases and cities and states and titles and things like that, and you get to go into their system, pull all that information out. You can copy and paste it into a spreadsheet to not use any of your credits, or you can just upload it into the system and then download it with one click to use some of your credits. But either way, for a year, $5,000, if you're really looking to build out a list, this is the most effective. For anybody that's bootstrapped and doing it from the ground up that doesn't have the marketing spend, you can put the $5,000 in and then just build a list out by searching, copy and pasting into a spreadsheet. The other way to do it is to hire a freelancer or somebody from the outside to strictly do data scraping. So from that aspect is you're going to build out search queries, or you're going to build a list of search criteria and pay somebody, most likely offshore, overseas, so that way the rate is lower. Pay somebody to go through, do a Google search, find a company name, go to that website, pull the contact information, and copy that onto the spreadsheet. That's really the other way to do it. At the end of the day, that's probably going to be the least cost behind it, but there is going to be some issues with language barriers. It could be communication issues, the quality of it, the time of it, things like that. So really, at the end of the day, the only two options that I see for building out a list is going to be using ZoomInfo and searching the list yourself, or using a freelancer or an agency from the outside that can do offshore list building, because it is going to be ridiculously cheap compared to using somebody in the US or in Europe. If you can, ideally you want to try and have a list built by having a newsletter, then having people subscribe to it, and then you can just send out your newsletter once a week, once a month, things like that. But from the beginning, when you have nobody and you don't want to wait months and months or a year to get a newsletter list built up before you send your first piece, go out there and get that information. The other way you can do it is use your LinkedIn connections. Now, I try not to have us reach out to people through LinkedIn, using their email addresses, because most of the time it's their personal email addresses, but sometimes wires gets crossed and they get pulled into our system and they get blasted. A lot of times people are going to get either annoyed by that, or they're going to click the unsubscribe and flag you as spam, which could cause issues in the future. But just sending people a link on LinkedIn or posting and saying, hey guys, check out my newsletter, here's some content we're producing, just subscribe so you can be notified. We send it to you every week. That would be the best way to do it. But if you don't have that luxury, if you don't have the time, Zoom Info, or having somebody do data scraping for you outside, you can go to Upwork.com or any sort of freelance site and get them to have somebody that you can look at reviews and say, this person has been doing this, here's all the reviews, their cost is maybe $3, $4, $5, $6 an hour, $10 an hour, something like that. Have them build out the list, and then they get that back to you quickly, and you can start building it slowly over time. But either way, building that list, in my recommendation, do not use any sort of third-party group that's going to say, I'm going to build your lists for you, because most of the time they suck. So if you guys got value out of this content about your 2019 email marketing strategy, hit that like button. If you have questions or want me to jump into anything deeper, leave a comment below, and we will see you on the next one.
Even if they're not opening your emails, they're still seeing your headline, they're still seeing your business. That's pretty incredible.
Ready?
I'm ready. Welcome to The Journey. Today we're talking about email marketing best practices to grow your business.
All right, fun fact, Neely. This might surprise you. 86% of consumers actually want an email from you once a month.
That's pretty incredible. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. How do we really build that contact list and that subscriber list?
Right, contact list. So there's a couple of things to point out. First of all, yes, you do want their permission. So a couple common ways. Start with a form, fill out a form. Maybe it's on your website. I know we have that with GoDaddy. Yeah, somewhere on your website. Like if you want to subscribe to our newsletter, be the first to know what's happening. You can sign up and they opt in. Another way is to, of course, promote across your social media platforms as well. You want to stay in tune, subscribe here, and really think about call to action.
Okay.
What can you do? One that definitely reeled me in recently. It was a local pizza shop in San Diego where I live.
As they do.
And they basically were promoting that, hey, sign up for our newsletter and on your birthday, you get a special deal.
What's that special deal?
Free slice of pizza, duh.
Nice.
I'm all about that. I'd prefer the whole pie, but. You know.
So you can do kind of the same thing, right? Like you build your list, you have your service, your products, you can give either a discount or your own version of a free slice of pizza. To kind of like sum this all up is you're giving value of some sort to your audience. In exchange for charging for it, they're giving you their email. That's basically the cost, if you will. Mm-hmm. So the more value you bring to your audience, the easier and more willing they're going to be to give you their email so that they can get you on that contact list.
Exactly.
Now, what do we do about creating the actual emails themselves?
Yeah, the content.
Right.
So, you know what? Why don't I just show you an example of a business crushing it with content on their emails?
Let's go.
All right. All right, Neely. So I thought it made sense after going through all these best practices with email marketing to actually pull up an example. So I was looking at this, well, actually my whole inbox. I was like, which subject lines are grabbing my attention?
Okay.
This is an email from Canva, and the subject line was people, heart, so they use emoji, quotes, period. So with this, just to go through an example, what I love about this Canva email, and it caught both of our eye, is the banner. I mean, look how clean it is. Inspire your followers. It's crisp, it's cool. And then also, I love the little call to action in the top right. It says weekly newsletter, learn and be inspired. So that's kind of subtle call to action, right?
Yeah.
To sign up. And then as you scroll down, notice that there's not a ton of text, and it's, again, very visual. And so they have these bullet points of what they're trying to get across to get people excited about the tips.
Yeah.
Be a force for change, use a positive metaphor, and make it visually stand out. So this email is educational.
Absolutely. And right below it, a giant call to action. Why is that super important in our emails?
It's super important because you want to think about what's the purpose of your email in the first place. What are you giving your audience? And if you're going to provide a call to action, like Justin just pointed out, it's a very clear big button. Give it a go. And then in addition, they have these awesome templates. So they have some for Facebook posts, Instagram posts, and essentially when you click on it, then let's say you went to the Instagram post one. From there, they're going to give you a template for you to apply Canva for your business in an Instagram post. Also, Instagram story helps. So you see it's very, very cool. It pops. It's not a ton of verbiage because that's when you're going to lose the reader.
Yeah, we don't like to read just a giant block of text. It's really cool to see it just sectioned off, bullet points, nice and easy, nice and small to read, and a lot of just visual elements to keep my eyes engaged.
Absolutely. And then you'll notice too on the bottom of their email, they have their social media links.
Yep.
So they have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and LinkedIn. So this is a great opportunity, right? If I'm opening your email and I'm a customer or potential customer, I want to go and check you out on other sites. Make it easy for me to do that. So email newsletters are great to cross-promote.
Absolutely.
Ooh, also, Neely, another thing, I know you're familiar with this, but you'll notice above the social links, what do we have here?
A giant, well, not so giant, it's pretty little, but it's an unsubscribe button, but there's a giant meaning behind it. So the Can Spam Act says that every email marketing newsletter you send out has to have two things at the very least: an unsubscribe button and a location. Mm-hmm. Now, I know some of you are just solopreneurs or your home business is at home, right? So you can put P.O. boxes here, but it does have to be a legitimate address that you can receive mail to. Because if you don't follow these, you're essentially becoming spam, and we don't want this because we know you're a legitimate business. All right, Emma, that was an awesome demo. I hope it really helped you with creating your own email newsletter campaigns. So now we've got the subscriber list, we've got the content. How do we know it's working?
Great question. So definitely want to look at unsubscribes, right? That's probably an obvious. And this is something you want to keep an eye on because it's going to inform you that maybe your audience isn't exactly organic as you thought, and you need to continue building it. And also maybe reconsider the content, which we just spent a lot of time covering what makes great content. Also looking at open rates. I know we do this a lot on the marketing team when we're putting out ebooks and webinar invites. Check it out. Are they opening the emails? And then if they are in fact opening the emails, are they actually clicking on your call to actions, your links?
And I would encourage you not to be discouraged about the open rates, because with email, it's not going to be a 90%, 100%, 80%. Open rates are going to be pretty low, but that's okay. You'll get, I don't know, anywhere from like 10 to 20 is about average percentage-wise.
That's right.
But even if they're not opening your emails, they're still seeing your headline. They're still seeing your business, which increases that brand awareness, which you're top of mind. All right, Emma. So what are some other best practices you can give the audience here on just really killing it with their email game?
Yeah, list maintenance. So about every 6 months, go in, pay attention to look, who's opening your emails, who hasn't been. Right. And the ones who aren't opening your emails, isolate that list and let it chill for a little while. Yeah. And then remind them down the road, like, hey, and see if they're interested, gauge it again, feel that out. But definitely do that every 6 months.
Yeah, and most email providers that you use for your email marketing campaigns, you can set up groups so you can easily move them into a haven't heard from me group, or a hot leads group, or a cold leads group, or however it makes sense to really organize your listing so that way you can kill the game.
All right, that's a wrap. You just learned email marketing best practices to help grow your business.
And hey, comment below your best subject line for the world to know. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so you know when these videos are coming out. This is The Journey. We'll see you next time.
Hello friends, I'm Neshik from blogdo.com, and in this video I'll teach you everything you need to know about email marketing. We'll be using MailChimp, which is absolutely free and amazing platform, so you don't need to spend a single penny for that. Now let's see what all we'll be learning in this video. First, we'll create a MailChimp account. Then we'll build some beautiful templates. Then after that we'll create a list. And after that we'll set up different campaigns. Then we'll integrate MailChimp with popular plugins like SumoMe and WP Forms, etc. And at the end we'll see how to collect emails making different types of forms like pop-up forms, smart form, etc. Soon I'll be creating an Udemy course on email marketing, which will be very deep and very amazing. So whenever that course is ready, I'll give that link in the video description below, so you can check that link. That will be very helpful. And if you find this video helpful, then make sure you subscribe to my channel and also click on that bell icon so that you don't miss any future videos. Also make sure to press that thumbs up button. With that being said, let's get started. To create a MailChimp account, open a new tab and type in mailchimp.com. And here click on sign up free. Now put in your email and password username over here. I have just created a email for this purpose. So I'll put in that email. It was Laziest MailChimp, I guess. And I think this will be the username, and the password should be something, something different like this. Let me show you. You can see this password. It has a capital letter, which is uppercase, lowercase. It has special characters, then it has number, and so it should contain, the password should be something like this. Okay, if you put in your mobile number and something, this will not accept it because your mobile number doesn't have any alphabets. So make sure you set some password which has uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters, and so on. So just put in your email name, your username, password, and click on get started. Okay, it says we have sent you a message to this particular email address. Open it up and click on activate account. We'll take it from there. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so here it is. This is the mail. Just open it up and click on this activate account button. Now we can close these two tabs. Okay, now you just have to confirm that you're not a robot. So just click on this button. Okay, now you have to fill in some, very simple and easy things over here. So first thing, you have to put in your first name and last name. So let's do that. Then click on continue. Now tell us about your business. So what is the name of your business? So my business name is BlogDude. I have a website called www.blogdude.com. So I'll put in there. You have to put in your website obviously over here. Now click on continue. Now put in your address over here. I'll just put in Mumbai because this is just for tutorial purposes. Then I'll click on continue. Now it is asking, does your business sell anything online? I'll just select no because I don't sell anything online. So just select accordingly and click on continue. And the last step is to connect your social media. So suppose you want to connect your Facebook. Just click on this plus button and just click on continue as Nair or continue as whatever your account is logged in. Okay, so let me just do only me so that no one can see this. Click on OK. Fine. OK again. Okay, so that is done. You can see this tick mark over here. Now let's connect Twitter over here. Just click on this plus button. Authorize app. Okay, so both these things are done. So we have done all the 5 steps. Now click on continue. Okay, now you have some, newsletter options. I don't recommend this, but if you want some help in getting started and you want some newsletter regarding e-commerce stories, tips and experiments, you can tick mark these things, but I don't require this and I don't think it is, important. Just click on this let's go button. Okay guys, so we are done. The first step is done, which is creating a MailChimp account. It was really easy. Now you can just cut this thing. Now the second thing is to create a template. You can create list first, template, anything, but I have decided to create template first and after that we'll create list. So to create a template, just click over here which says template at the top. Okay, so it says you don't have any saved template. Obviously we don't have it. Now here is the create template button. Just click on that. Now here we have three different options: layouts, themes, and code your own. So when you click on code your own, you can import HTML or you can just paste in your code over here. And when you click on themes, you have some pre-made layouts over here. So you can just select anything, just edit it and you can use it. For example, you have these 5 featured layouts. Let's see first how to do that. Let's select this one, monthly contest. Okay, so you have this thing over here.